Welcome to my channel. My name is Mai Imrechts. I'm an intuitive and an energy healer. The intention of this channel is to take daily topics and look at them from a higher perspective. Um, Daily topics, challenges, things that come up in our life, and then look at them from a different perspective. It will be a mixture of like wisdom, channeling, energy healing. It will be a combination of all that. I will let spirit guide me throughout these videos, and yeah, we will see what what it will bring. And to be honest, I had this idea for a really long time. I come from a physiotherapy background, and I always there wanted to look at the bigger picture. And I felt there was a need to look at an even higher perspective at our life after losing two really good friends at a young age with kids. And I really started questioning what life was about and why we're here. And so this opened my spiritual path. And this made me think also of like every individual and their struggles and going through life. Like, what is this about? Why are we here? What are the intentions? Where do we go from here? And these are all topics that interest me. And to make this and to build a little bit of a community so that we can come together and really heal together, because I feel people are often lonely. Same for me, like in my journey, I was very lonely going through it all, not really understanding the depth of what I was going through. I could not express it. But I've learned to like feel and work with energy and get a lot of answers. And so I think now it's time to share this with the world. And so today is the day of my first video. I'm excited, at the same time nervous. Um, and it was really interesting because there's some nervousness about like exposing myself, like being on camera, being judged for that. But there was also some nervousness in like presenting topics that are not quite popular, I should say, and then coming at it from a different perspective, and that might be new to a lot of people, and that might maybe cause like a lot of people to judge or to come back at me for bringing these things to the surface. And so that's why I've been holding on off for so long to do this, but I felt the nudge growing bigger and bigger. And I think I just need to do it because I think this is something that we all need to work through, that's relevant for all of us, working through our fears. There's no courage without fear. So showing the courage to actually then go ahead and do these things, I think is a good example of how we have to live our life these days and how we need to take on certain challenges in our life. So there we go. I was thinking about the topic of today's video was going to be master your own destiny. And that is part of like starting this YouTube channel because I feel like this is my destiny. And before I started, I went to lie down and I just wanted to tune into the energy and center myself. And as I was lying down, I just decided to just surrender. Normally, I do a little bit of breathing or a little bit of like getting myself to that place of nothingness, to the void, really. But this time I was guiding to really just surrender. And I was just looking at, okay, what is the energy here and what is available to me? And so as I was lying down on my bed, just trying to surrender and just let play things out, it was really interesting because I saw myself sitting in a theater seat. And it's almost like I became the observer of what was happening. So instead of being active in it, I became the person who was observing the energies that I needed to bring or that were available to me. And when I was sitting there, you know, it's almost like you're sitting at a theater and you don't know what play is going to come up. You don't know, you have no idea what it is going to bring. So that's where I was. And it was interesting because then the first thing I saw was almost these 4 angels flying around in a circle. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And it was almost like the suspense, you know, like when you're waiting for something to begin, like there is this like really intro music, or there is this like little pause before something starts. And so that was really what it felt like. And then I saw a woman come out from the ceiling, like almost fall out on a rope. And she was not upright, like you can see like at a concert or something, like Pink or I don't know, Lady Gaga or something. Like usually they rise up on a platform, or like maybe they come down, but they're upright. This time this female was like face down or head down, going right through the circle. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like what's happening here? And then she was held upright, and then they started their dance moves. So like with that main character, that female that came from above, it put it right in the middle of the circle, and then they started dance moves. And it was funny because like the last couple of days I had watched the documentary of Taylor Swift and Britney Spears, and that was really a nudge to do that, I think, like where they come on the stage and they act as a queen, and they are this yeah, they look like they have everything. They feel they look really powerful. They have the dance moves, they can sing, they're very artistic. And but at the same time, the feeling I got was like that they were actually puppets on a string. So behind what you can see is this whole system or people that are controlling them, and that are actually just restricting them and taking away their power instead of really feeding them their power. And that felt really relevant to what I wanted to talk to you about today, because it had to do with our female or our femininity, femininity. How come I cannot say that? Femininity that has been suppressed and controlled by the wounded masculine. And so I was like, okay, do I need to talk about this? Is this what the topic is gonna be? And about mastering our destiny. And then I got really fearful. I was like, wow, if I bring this up, people might come at me and want to take me down, because this is such a powerful topic. This is so against the normal or the norm, because we as feminine leaders or feminine people, as women, we've always been placed into a more masculine, like the wounded masculine energy, or we've been overpowered, dominated, controlled, money, discriminated financially, and like in a lot of different ways throughout history. And yeah, that got me really fearful. I was like, this is like a big topic to start talking about in my first video ever. And so that fear was almost overtaking me, and I had the feeling like, okay, I cannot do this. Like, I don't want this. Like, I don't want to feel any backlash. I want to feel like uplifted and empowered and good about this. And then it reminded me a little bit of my journey as a vegetarian. Like, I've been a vegetarian of like 30 years, like this year 30 years, since I was 13 years old. And at that time, being a vegetarian was very unique. There was not many. I knew only a few, and they were not living where I was living. And so I got a lot of resistance. I received a lot of like comments, a lot of questioning, a lot of almost like you need it, like why are you doing this, like why would you want to be different? And that has been actually a tough journey, even to this day, where like being a vegetarian is not something abnormal. People still ask me if I want to eat meat. Like even people who know that I'm vegetarian for so long, and like they still ask me like, oh, shouldn't you eat this piece? And like I really feel that's like feels like an intrusion of my authenticity. Like if I choose to not eat meat and to be a vegetarian, I don't think other people should come at me. They can come at me with their opinions, that's fine. But they shouldn't tell me what is right or what is wrong, or not in a way that is not respectful, or that is like, this is right and what you're doing is wrong. That's me. That's mainly what I want to see. And so it got me thinking that, like, okay, this femininity, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, this is really what I've been trying to embrace in my life more, and like welcome in and like assess and explore. And this got me thinking that, like, sure, at that time, if there was not those few people that became vegetarian like me, then there would be being a vegetarian wouldn't be the norm right now, or wouldn't be normal right now. So we needed at that time those few people who came out to become a vegetarian in order to start this momentum going and to move into a different direction and a different way of doing things or thinking. And this is a little bit the similar feeling I got with this feminine and masculine thing, where if we want to embrace more of the divine feminine, if we want to embrace, welcome in like a new earth energy, a new way of doing things, people have to step up to actually do it. And even though you might get resistance from lots of different angles, you still need to stand in that. And if that's your truth, if that's who you are, that's what you need to go with. And or if you feel called to, at least, like, not if this is not something that you feel like doing, but I was called to this. And so yeah, that was interesting. So I was like, okay, maybe I need to do it. So then I asked my pendulum, because I was like, okay, I want some confirmation. I want to make sure I'm safe. I'm good to, this is what I meant to do. This is how I meant to serve. So I asked my pendulum. My pendulum didn't have any answers, even though it was answering other questions. I was like, is this working? Or like, is this responding to what I want to ask? So I was like, okay, well, what do I do with this now? And then I decided to pull a card from the Kali Oracle deck. And that card was like very clear. It was just like, yeah. So if you're on it was just basically saying, if you're on a mission and you have something that you feel you need to do, you need to do it, even if there is some negativity that comes with it, but you're gonna stop your destiny or your spiritual path or your spiritual growth or your self-development if you stop whenever fear comes up. That's basically what it was saying. So it's not about stopping what you were doing, but it's about working through it, and with grace and compassion, of course, not just with like the wounded masculine, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do it and what the hell, like, just work one step at a time and assessing, and where do I want to go, and what is best for me, what is best in the interest for everybody, and is this something that makes me feel good. So yeah, so that's basically why we're here. A little introduction to my start of my YouTube channel. So but that pretty like sums it up of what a process it was to actually be here and sit here in front of the camera and talk about this topic. And I want everybody to approach this with like an open mind and If something resonates, that's great. If you can take something away from it, that's awesome. If something doesn't feel right, I'm open to hear it, but I want this to be a respectful community, a respectful place, where we lift each other up, where we come together, where we grow together through good and bad times, and where we can actually make healing a pleasant thing instead of something that is grinding and nudging and feels hard and lonely. So that's where we are. So master your destiny. So that's part of it. So working through the fear, not letting other people stop you, really grounding in the beliefs that you have and standing strong in it in a way that feels right. Like it's not something that like it's standing strong and push everything else. It's more as something about like planting a seed and letting it grow slowly and see where it takes you. I feel like your destiny is unlimited. I always, when I do these energy healing sessions, I always connect to the realm of infinite possibilities because that's source. That's really where we come from. And it's like standing in that, like seeing something and then connecting with that and then just waiting where it goes. Like I don't have specific goals. I don't have really a clear path where I'm going, but I'm almost like taking one step at a time, like following that like little nudge, that intuition, or a big nudge. Once it becomes a big nudge, when you don't listen, like it becomes bigger and bigger. But yeah, tapping into your intuition and like seeing where it will take you. And it's not because you're on this path that you will always stay there. Like if you're open to it, new things might come up. So what I wanted to do today is like do an energy healing session. So I'm going to step into the collective's energy. And I want to bring in that energy of master your destiny and clearing some of the fear, some of the underlying energies that are playing that stop us from really following that path. And this is going to be, I don't know how long it will be, but it will be good to have some time for yourself where you're uninterrupted. Maybe put some headphones on or lie in your bed or go for a walk or something, or listen to it when you have a chance. And this is because this is going to go deep. It's actually going into your energy field, and it will help clear you out some of the blocks or the obstacles that you're experiencing at this moment. And this is, of course, only with your consent, so only if you want to receive this. And it's also like, even when we're doing the energy session and you say like this doesn't feel good, you can always just like maybe take in certain parts and not the others, or there's always a way to stop altogether, or to just accept whatever is in your best interest. And that is always the case, actually. If you're guided here, there is a reason why you were led to this video and why you were shown this. And so this is probably your best sign that the thing that you're here, that you're meant to hear this, and that this will do something for you. So I'm going to take a minute to connect with your energy field, or with the collective's energy field, and we're going to see what comes up. So during these channelings, I connect with the field of the infinite realm. So I channel energy from there through me to you. And as I do this, I feel and see and hear things. So any channeled messages will come through. And it's kind of like a meditation, energy healing, all at once, channeling all at once. So here we go. So get yourself comfortable. Get yourself in a place that feels good. Maybe some pillows and blankets, or outside in the sun, and I'm just going to take a minute to connect and see if you can just take a couple deep breaths and come home to yourself. This is a time and space that is meant for you. In this moment, you don't need to do anything. Just be here. Master your own destiny. Let's clear some energy and bring in some renewed, higher, brighter, more expansive energy into our fields. I feel I want to clear out first some of the energies that are current in our bodies. And I see a lot of like turmoil. There is a lot of, it almost feels like energy is going everywhere. There's a little bit of the old, there's a little bit of the new, there's a little bit of like what this person says, what I think, what everybody else says, what is going on in the collective. So it's very confusing to our brains and to our being. Like, where do I point my attention? Which direction do I go? Which direction do I go in? So let's clear a little bit out all the energies that are not ours, including the ties that are there since childhood and past lives, ancestral, the day-to-day things that you hear on the radio or in the grocery store. All of that gets cleared out. And I feel like I want to physically clear that out with my hands. So I don't know if you want to do that too, but just like bring your hands up to your head and then pushing, almost like pushing the energy down towards your feet. If you want, you can go bigger and bigger. Do it at your own pace. And if you just want to lie down there, that's fine. I'm doing it for you. And it feels good. I'm being guided to the lower three chakras, in particular, the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, and the root chakra. And it's almost like everything of all the energy or all the confusion and all the opinions have been stored in that area. So in your womb area, your hips, your perineum, your pelvis area. And it's making your foundation really wobbly. So it makes it feel like you have no ground to stand on. It feels unsteady. And I'm being shown like just like a wooden pallet, like a wooden, like, what is it called? So those things that you like, that they put stuff on and then they can load it into the truck or something, like a pallet. And so that floating onto the water and you're standing on that. So it feels like it's roughly built, not steady. And that's where that insecurity creeps in, because we don't have a steady ground to stand on, to root in our power, to root in our destination, where we want to go. It's really hard to row or direct like a wooden pallet in, let's say, in the ocean or in a lake. So there's nothing to, it's really, then you do all this effort for very little results. So let's see if we can clear that out. And I feel a rush through my right leg from my hip, like above my hip actually, to all the way down my leg, my knee, into my foot, into Mother Earth. I see a fire now. Like something wants to ignite, something wants to, it's that spark, that fire, that drive that we have. Why is on the right side? The wounded masculine. Holy cow, yeah, the wounded, that's what I'm hearing, the wounded masculine. We have to come into balance. As female, we generally are meant to let with our feminine side, our intuition, our playfulness, pleasure, freedom. And the divine masculine is more in service of the female. So of the female is all about creation and creativity. And the masculine is more mind-led, and it's the doing, the strategizing. And life is about bringing those two together in a very divine way, and so becoming one, becoming whole. But as long as we're in this like more masculine, we need to do in order to get results, the feminine doesn't have a playground to play on. So I'm asking now what it has to do with floating and why we are not on steady ground. So what I'm hearing is we need to create a structure in our life, in our society, in our culture that allows for the female to play to its fullest, to step into that power, to gain back the reins of our own life. Oh, that's big. We don't want to be puppeteered around. And even though like a lot of people, and same like me, don't feel like I'm really puppeteered around by anybody. It's more symbolic. It's more like the society is that still there is a lot of wounded masculine in control of a lot of things, and that prevents our femininity, our creativity, our playfulness, our freedom to restrict and to be pushed down or overpowered, like squashed. So the structure that we need to build at this point is a structure that allows for both to be balanced. And that counts for everyone, whether you're a female or a masculine. It is really important that there's a little bit of both in them, and like it's a spectrum. So there's people that are meant to lead with the feminine, there's people that are meant to the masculine, but the trick is, or the goal is, to find a balance that works for you. And that feels true to you. So let's energetically welcome that in. And I now see like a figure that is Jesus-like, or I don't know if you relate with Jesus, but like something like Christ consciousness, like wholeness, basically, who is handing us over he's handing to us that combination, and that the ability to bring both, a little bit of both into our life, and to heal what needs to be healed in order to feel truly empowered to follow our destiny. And as I was talking about the fears that I had for making this video and starting a YouTube channel and putting myself out there, let's see what I say about that. It is because it's not balanced. I'm not balanced enough between the both. Because if I would stand really strong in my feminine power, and I would let me be supported by my divine masculine, and the divine masculine is providing for me, there wouldn't be any fear. Even though you might then experience backlash, or being criticized, or you stand so strong in your truth that it doesn't budge you. Like, it might hurt you and you might have to work through some of the triggers, but it doesn't veer you off your path of your destiny. And the opposite actually is what I'm hearing now. Is like, the opposite is that you start building then strength, because every time you work through a trigger, or every time you work through something that becomes hard on your path, you actually get shot forward onto your destiny. And that's how you become a master. Oh my God, I get huge chills now. You don't become a master by choosing the easy path, because your destiny is always going to be hard. Your destiny is always going to have some obstacles, because otherwise we don't grow, we don't evolve, and we don't bring in that new consciousness. If we want to bring in that new earth consciousness, the Christ consciousness, or unity consciousness, oneness, feeling whole, we have to work through some resistance, because we're changing patterns that have been here for forever, or for a really long time. And so you cannot do that without facing that resistance, without bringing in some of those challenges. And I really feel that now. I feel a calmness, and I almost feel like I'm touching that Christ figure, or that Christ energy that I was seeing, that oneness energy. I feel like now we're reaching towards each other. It's almost like our hands reaching for each other. Like, I see that picture now of, like, I think it's Jesus and a cloud or something, and they're reaching towards each other. Like, that's what I'm seeing now. It's like, that's our destiny. And he's giving us some of that. He's giving us a hand, like a little bit of help to get there and to do this. And together, I'm hearing, like, it's really important to do this together, because if you're this lone person who is pushing, nothing is going to change. We need multiple people to actually step up and become and embody and reach for that oneness energy, and bringing in a whole new consciousness and a whole new way of living, and going through our life. And my attention is going to the noise outside here at my window, and they've been doing construction here, and hearing that is almost like invasive to my energy field. It's almost like you're invading my space, my peace, my quietness. But this is what we have, exactly what it is. This is what we have to work through. Like, even if people are invading our authenticity or our through peace or through power, we need to always come back and prevent them from affecting us, not from coming at us, because we cannot do anything about it, but from affecting that through power that we have within us. And as I say that, it gets louder. So that's an exercise. Like, could also be like thoughts coming in, or opinions from other people, or maybe coaches or teachers that are implementing certain ways of doing things. And so this is really what we need to come back to, is building our own foundation, building our own floaty that is strong and steady, and that doesn't get pushed over easily. And now the sound stopped. So that's what I was talking about, working through those obstacles. And now I feel something rising from my root chakra, my sacral chakra, my solar plexus, and it's rising up into my heart chakra, my throat, but it feels really restricted, to my third eye, my crown chakra. And it feels like a kundalini rising, like that fire that I first saw in my right leg is now going up from my root chakra all the way up through my energy system. And why is my throat restricted? It's the speaking up. That's the hardest part. It's the telling your truth. It's easy to do this at your home and maybe with people that you know will react well to it, but it's the speaking up, even though you don't know how people are going to react, or maybe people that you know won't react as good. And that doesn't mean you have to push it onto somebody. That doesn't mean you have to like put it in their face or try to change other people. Like, everybody has their own path. Not everybody is ready to hear it. But that doesn't mean that you cannot speak it right now, that you cannot stand in your truth right now. And yeah, I feel a clearing in my throat, and actually one of my vertebrae in my neck just cracked, like some release. Let's see if you can take a deep breath. And I feel like that fire is now followed by that oneness consciousness that I was seeing hovering over our floaty, reaching out for us. And it just fills up our whole energetic system, our aura, all our cells of our body, basically, our blood, our heart, our brain. I was gonna say emotional system, but there is some resistance there too. Let's see what that is. Our emotions are still holding us back because we're scared of them. We're scared of honoring all the emotions. We're good at really honoring the good things and the wins, but we're not really good at honoring the failures and the losses and the sadness and the pain, the hurt, the anger. And on your way to your destiny, it's really important to honor all of them, to have compassion for all of them. And even when something feels really good, assess if it's your ego feeling good or if it's your soul feeling good. See if you can make that distinguish, if you can distinguish between a soul or ego. Let's say like you just got a promotion at work, and is that your ego because now you feel good because you feel recognized, or is that your soul because you actually are doing something that comes from the heart and that feels true to you and true to your message. But yeah, we leave that for another video. We'll talk about emotions more because it's an important thing. And then I feel filled with light and with love from the oneness consciousness, but also love from people around you, from this community, from me, from people that you don't even know. If there's one last thing that wants to come through, but I feel we're pretty complete here for this session. Take a deep breath. See if you can loosen up your system a little bit, shake it, move it. It's almost like we're holding on so stiff, holding on to what we know, holding on what's familiar, but we need to move. We need to become a little bit more flexible, a little bit more outgoing, a little bit more loose with who we are and who we want to be. Focused, but not so focused that it becomes like almost stiffening. That's wounded masculine, I'm hearing. So it needs to feel flowy and free and playful and pleasurable. And take a couple deep breaths before we come back here. It was so lovely to feel all of our energies together and coming together for this like common mission. Even though we have a different path and we have a different destiny, we all come together, hold each other's hand and support each other to get to whatever destiny we have. And I'm so grateful for finding those souls that also have the bravery and the courage to speak up, but also to like heal themselves and to become more in tune with what they want or who they are, and to their authenticity and their sovereignty. It feels so good to connect with every one of you. After the session, take some time to maybe journal or lie down for a little bit longer, go for a walk, drink lots of water. We did a lot of powerful stuff here, and this energy work is still going to keep going for a couple more days or even weeks. And you can always come back to it too when you feel you need it. And just give yourself some grace and some pat on the back for doing this and for showing up and for being one of those warriors that go first and lead the way. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. I hope we can stay in touch. If you have anything to say or any comments, let me know. I would love to hear it. If you feel you have any revelations or breakthroughs or even struggles, this is a safe place, and we're all here to help each other, to encourage each other, and to not give up, and to feel better that's really the goal, to live a life where you feel good, where you feel you can, you feel empowered, you feel you're ready to do things, you have the vitality and the energy to do the things that you want, and you have the courage to go for it. So this was my first video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much.